Welcome to the Real Estate Flash. I'm Barry Connerty. Thanks for joining me today. So today what I'm going to do is talk to you a little bit about pricing out rental strata units for an investment property. Okay, so I was just talking to a client. This is what we're looking at right now, all through different areas around British Columbia right now. So I'm just going to show you the basic sort of setup of what I do to sort of start out and get an idea of what kind of numbers we're going to be looking at. And then from there, we can go in and we can hone in on specific products. But before we even start, I want to know what kind of numbers we need to sort of get in order to make the whole thing work out. And it's a bit of a process, but I thought I'd bring you along with it, and we can start. Now, by all means, this is not the gospel. These are just baseline numbers, but you got to have a starting point if you're going to get to the finish line, right? So let's start off with this. I always hit rentals.ca. Here, I'll throw this graphic up. This gives you a little bit of an idea of what kind of numbers you're going to be looking at in the different communities. Again, this by all means is not written in stone, but it's a great little starting place. So as you can see, we've had some increases over the last little while, but here we go. Vancouver, Burnaby, we got Victoria in here, and the top 10. This is the most expensive cities to rent in Canada right now. You scroll down further, you're going to see Kelowna, you're going to see Surrey. And actually, that's what we're going to use today. We're going to use Surrey. So if you look at Surrey, on this one, it says monthly $2,315 for a 2-bedroom. Okay, so we're going to note that. I'm going to throw another graphic up here, and definitely I'll put all the links to this down below so you can go and you can see yourself, because this changes month to month, right? So you know, if you're starting now, that's great, but you know, in 3 months these numbers are going to look a little bit different, and it's a really good time actually to start looking at rental properties. The reason being, of course, British Columbia just put legislation into place that takes all rental restrictions away. So any strata unit right now you buy, you can rent out. Now, what that's going to do to rental unit pricing, you know, that's to be seen. I have a feeling it's going to bring down prices on rentals, just because we're going to see a lot more of them come out on the market. But you never know. Like, we may not see as many as they're expecting. One of the numbers David Evie floated around in the Lower Mainland was 2,900 units. He figured was just sitting empty that the owners couldn't rent out. And a large percentage of those people that do own empty units would be happy to have them out on the market, you would think. Not all of them, but you know, a large percentage of them. So all of that might come out on the market soon. But we have to see how that does play out. In the meantime, we can use the numbers that we have. So we're going to go with Surrey, like I said. I'm going to use another number here that I like, I think, a little bit better, just from my experience. I think you can get closer to $2,600 a month for a decent 2-bedroom unit in Surrey currently. So and this other graphic here, it plays out that, so it says 25-25. So I'm going to use 25-25 as my guideline. Again, don't just use one source. If you have access to multiple sources, try to go through them and look at the different ones, because you know, it's nice to have one that sort of has a guideline, but if you have several, then you can kind of see if there's a trend. You know, if there's big discrepancies between the two, then maybe there's some reasoning behind that, and you should look a little bit into it. Of course, you can always use me, so just give me a call, quick email, and I'm always happy to get you this information to you, and of course always discuss all these different possibilities. So the other thing we're going to do is I'm just going to use the Fraser Valley's research right now sort of as my guideline, but by all means we're going to be doing CMAs and all that kind of stuff if we're working together, so we'll get a lot more intricate into exactly, you know, what kind of pricing we're going to be. But again, this is a guideline, right? So we're going to go Central Surrey. Click the link below. You can kind of see all the different areas. The average price of a condo is just under $530,000. Okay, so $530,000 is going to be my starting. $25.25 a month is going to be the sort of goal that we're going to be sort of looking for in and around that price range. And if we can kind of get there, then this all starts to make sense. All right, so we got those numbers now. Now what I do head over to my website, and you can do this. You go ahead and you use the website. It's a free service. I put a lot of effort into making this very user friendly. You don't have to put your name in or credit card, or it doesn't cost you anything. So you just head over to the website, and here I'm just gonna flick it on here, and then we go. Just pull up Connerty.ca. Connerty is real estate. There it is. Okay, there's the website. Now you head over to the buyers section right there and hit the mortgage calculator. Okay, now that's going to pull up this page right here. And this is a very powerful little program right here, and it works very well, super easy to use. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, and oh, by the way, you don't only have to use this for investing in rentals. This is all set up so that you can start putting a budget together for your purchase. You know, whether you're first time buyer or you're looking at, you know, selling and then buying. This will put it all into perspective for you, so that you can have a nice, easy sort of setup of what you're going to be doing. Anyways, okay, so back to it. So 530,000. That's the number we were using. Okay, now down here, this is the down payment area. Now you can change these. It's got them filled in just for the basic sort of setup, which is fine. You can use these numbers, but in rental properties, the minimum that any lender is going to ask for is 20%. Okay, that's the minimum that anybody's going to ask for. So I'm not going to bother with these three right here. As a matter of fact, I'm going to start at 20 because that's the lowest. Some lenders will ask for 25. And there are a few, depending on who they are, that will ask for 30. So, you know, I just go with these numbers, and then I'm just going to throw in 40 just for the heck of it. You're probably not going to have to get to that. If you're up in the 40% range, we should probably look at different lenders. But it is a good idea to look at it because it will give you your price out. If you are in that position where you're going to put 40% down, you're certainly going to have a better cash flow scenario, but that's not always the typical. So anyways, we're going to go with 20% down here. We're going to look at that. Okay, so $106,000 your down payment. That means you're mortgaging out at $424 with this purchase price. Okay, now we're going to hit the amortization period. Now on these types of properties, always go with your highest amortization period. That gives you your lowest monthly rate. Okay, now most mortgages, now this is where you have to talk to your lender or your mortgage broker, but most mortgages will allow for you to pay more than what they ask for. And the good thing about that is anything over and above your set monthly payment will go directly towards the principal. So it's a much better way to go. Now, by all means, you can put in 10 years or, 25 years, whatever you want to do. But and again, talk to your accountant about it. But my suggestion is always to go with the rental properties, the highest amortization period, and anything over 20%, you're allowed 30 years. So that works out pretty good. Okay, so now we're going to hit the rate. So you just press that button. We're in British Columbia, so we're going to fix that. Now you'll see it hits the fixed rates right away, and I'm going to use a fixed 5-year because I like to know personally. I like to have my expenses down, even if interest rates drop. I just like to know what it is. But by all means, you can click this one and go variable rates. Right now, it's not a huge deal to go to variable rates, and we are going to probably see another price increase in the rates coming in December here pretty quick. So definitely factor that. Now, you may be of the belief that next year and the year after they're going to start lowering rates, and I know that that's a common belief out there. So maybe it's true. And if you want to hit the variable rates, you go right ahead. But for me right now, I'm just going to use fixed rates. This just gives me a costing out anyways. Okay, so here it pulls up a few lenders. If you don't like any of these rates and you're already out there talking to a lender and they're telling you a different rate, maybe you're getting 425 or something like that, then you just plug it right in here and you just hit select it under the custom rate. For me right now, again, just to get sort of basic numbers, I'm going to go right in the middle, 5.09%, and that looks like it's going to work out pretty good. Now, this is a very good starting point. Now we have some really good ideas of what we can do. So 2286 is going to be with 20% down. 2286 is going to be our monthly payment. Okay. Now 2286 is one of the fixed monthly fees that we're going to have. Another one with strata units, and we're going to cost this in, is going to be the strata monthly maintenance fee. Now, the monthly maintenance fee is going to change depending on the product, but we got to use something. So the average for a 2-bedroom in Surrey, I find to be around $350. Now, I don't have any data to back that up. There's probably a site that'll have it, but they're all individual, so there's no way to gather that kind of information. I'm just going off of anecdotal. $350 is probably about right. Maybe on the little bit high side of the average, but certainly that's kind of in the area. It may be a bit less. You might find places for $290 or $250 a month. You may find places that are $400 a month. So I'm just going to use the number 350. It's a good starting point, and we can always adjust our numbers a little bit later once we kind of start honing in on an actual product. And the other number that is a definite is going to be your taxes. Now, typically in Surrey, in this sort of price range, we're going to be looking at between $1,400 and $2,000 a month. I'm going to say $1,800. A year. I'm going to say $1,800, and that throws us right into $150 per month. Okay, so our additional on top of mortgage is going to be $350 for strata and $150 taxes. That's a total of $500. So we just add $500 right onto the $2,286. So we're at $2,786. And then, because I'm a simple guy, I like to round up, and I will go to the extra $14 a month. I'm just going to say it's $2,800 a month. So our fixed cost is $2,800 a month. Now you can add in other ones. This has all the tools here, so just go through it and if you like, and you can really drill down. But these are the numbers that I want. If you're a tenant nowadays, you expect to pay for your hydro and your cable and your all that kind of extra expense, your Wi-Fi. That's going to be kind of on you. And so as the landlord, I'm not going to bother looking at those costs right now. We're just going to stick to the basics. Now remember, $2,800 a month, that doesn't include a bank account set aside for any future costs. If a dishwasher breaks down, washer and dryer, or an assessment comes up on the strata, then you are on the hook for that. You are not able to charge your tenant for that based on the Tenancy Act. So, you want to plan for that. So breaking even isn't always the best scenario. Now, a lot of people in the Lower Mainland, Fraser Valley, they actually supplement their investment properties. And the logic behind that is reasonably simple. Year over year, you get a very high return on the actual asset. So your equity builds really quickly in the Lower Mainland. And so, yeah, you may have to pay $200 a month into your investment on top of whatever your tenant is paying. But in 5-10 years, when you go to sell the property, you could end up making a lot of money. And that's where, you have to speculate whether or not that's going to work or if it's going to fit within your budget. But I'm just going to assume right now that we're going to be looking for somebody who is not interested in supplementing on a monthly basis. They want the tenant to basically at least cover all of the costs. And if they have to supplement any of the fixes in the future, like maybe the washer and dryer or something like that, if it breaks down in 5 years, that's something that can be looked at, right? And that could be the supplementation. So we're just going to go on a break-even cost. So we're at $2,800 per month. Okay. And then we look back at what our average rates are. Well, in Surrey, it's $25.25, right? So right there, you'd have to supplement $275 a month just to get into the average price of a condo, right? With the average rent. Okay. So now we start playing with the numbers. Let's go back up to the top here. I'm going to go with, and we're gonna try something different here. 490,000. Right? Let's see what happens. So I get you a smoking deal on a great condo. Now it lowers the rate down to 2113, and you add on the 5, so 2613. Now we're pretty close, right? So now if you're charging 2650 a month, which is probably pretty doable in the Surrey area, then you're into positive territory. Look, if you put 25% down, you're well within your mark, even at the average rental, right? So that's another thing to consider. So maybe if you can get up to the 25% down, then you're well within range at $490,000. And we'll just plug in 530 again. just to sort of see, because I didn't go through the, so at 25%, you're just above the average. If you get to 30% down, you are above. Now you're cash positive, right? So that's another way to look at it. And then the other way to look at it is, look, maybe you've only got half of the down payment right now. And so you know that it's going to take you 6, 8 months, maybe even a year. So you're just sort of planning out ahead. It's going to take you a little while to save up the extra money here to get to the 20% down, okay? What you can do then is start speculating on rates, and you can figure out what your strike point's going to be. So let's just say you're saying 4.5%. Okay, let's see what happens there if we plug that in. Now we're down to 21.38, so 26.38. Maybe that works. Maybe we go a little bit lower and say, okay, let's say 3.9. If the rates go back down to 3.9%, will it work? Yes, it's going to work for you, right? And you know, since it's going to take you 6 to 8 months, it's possible that we're going to see some interest rates being discounted out there over the next year. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I can't tell you that's going to happen, but I have seen it in the past where when interest rates get to a certain level, the banks start discounting the rates. You know, so prime -2, prime -1.5, something to that effect. So that's another thing to consider. All right, so there you go. That's kind of the nutshell. That's the basic math that we're going to do. That website. Oh, and then actually here, I'm just going to put one last plug onto the website. Once you get that, then you go over here and you go back to home, and you can go right down here and see this. You just plug in the city. So okay, Surrey. So now I know how much I want to spend. I want to spend maybe around $490,000 on a 2-bedroom. So all Surrey, all property type. We're just going to go to condos, right, for now, and we search. And then once this pops up, you can say, okay, I want you know, I want something between $300,000 and $500,000. How many bedrooms? We need a 2-bedroom. Okay, and there you go. And now you pop down to here and look at this. Here's all the listings for you, and it's all right there. It costs you absolutely nothing. And you can go through this, and then you can sign up if you want. You can put your name in, and it'll actually send you, every month or every week, or whatever criteria you want. Or here's the easier way: just give me a call. I'm happy to send you all the spreadsheets, and I'm happy to get this emailed over to you anytime you want. So that's it in a nutshell. That's the basic math on looking for a rental property. And then from there, we really hone in and we start getting very specific on buildings and strata fees and all that kind of stuff. All right. So I hope that was helpful for you. And by all means, if you have any questions, just give me a call right away. I'm Barry Connerty, and that is your Real Estate Flash.